Hello, ladies and gentlemen. A couple of weeks ago, I started pestering my parents about some missing consoles and games from back in the day that neither me nor my siblings have seen in forever. The same day I asked, they found some old PS2 stuff, some SingStar games, a Buzz game plus controllers, and a random football game for the original Xbox. Not exactly what I was looking for, but it all goes into the collection, I suppose. But today was somewhat of a jackpot, because the old Xbox 360 has been located and I've taken it home with me. I was warned it might have the dreaded red ring issue, but when I plugged it in, it worked perfectly. It came with two controllers and all the necessary cables, which is great. I don't know a ton about Xboxes, but this one doesn't have an HDMI port, so from what I understand, it's a first gen model. Unfortunately, my new TV in the game room doesn't have inputs for component cables, so the Xbox 360 will have to stay in my living room since that TV has the right inputs. Now onto the real treasure, the games. Let's check them out and see if any memories pop up as I go down memory lane. Not really, I didn't play much Xbox back in the day. I only remember some Guitar Hero. My brother mainly used this machine. But first up we have Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4, which is not a 360 game at all. It's for the original Xbox. I already have THPS 4 for PS2 in the collection, but I don't have many Xbox games, so at least this expands the collection a bit. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater is a great game. I beat it last year, I think, and it was awesome. But moving on to the actual 360 games, starting with Dead or Alive 4, I don't know much about this one, and I have no specific memories of it. The case is damaged though, which is a shame, but yeah, I doubt this will get much playtime. Then we got Prey. I remember my brother playing this, but I never tried it myself. It looks interesting, so I'll definitely check this one out. Next, Final Fantasy 13. I don't recall playing this one either, but it's a Final Fantasy game, so I guess it's worth checking out. I'm not a huge Final Fantasy guy, but I'll try it eventually. Test Drive Unlimited. This one I vaguely remember, and it seemed like it'll be right up my alley. I'll definitely check it out, and maybe it'll be worth talking about in a future video after I've played it. Project Gotham Racing 3 is another title I'm unfamiliar with, but more racing games are always welcome. It could be another fun one to talk about down the line. We have Eternal Sonata, which I've never even heard about. I know my sister was quite happy about this being found. Doesn't really look like my kind of thing, but I will probably check it out sometime. Then there's 99 Nights, which I've never heard of, but the cover art looks pretty cool. I'll have to try it sometime. Spider-Man 3, I don't recall playing this one, but I've enjoyed the newer PlayStation exclusive Spider-Man games, so I'm curious to see how this older game plays. Tony Hawk's Proving Ground, a Tony Hawk title I don't think I've ever played. I spent my childhood playing Tony Hawk games, mostly 3 and 4, so this should be a fun one to dive into when I get the chance. Then we have Halo 3, Halo 4 and Halo Reach. I never played any of these either, so I'm excited to go through them. However, I'm still looking to pick up Halo 1 and 2, which I probably want to play first, so these will have to wait a bit. And finally we come to what I remember from the 360, Guitar Hero. And here we have Guitar Hero 2, Guitar Hero 3, Guitar Hero Aerosmith, Guitar Hero World Tour, and AC/DC Live, which is not a Guitar Hero game, but a Rock Band game. It's different, but the same, but different, I think. It's a shame that none of the guitars were found though, so I currently have no way to play these. Maybe I can find a guitar for cheap somewhere. But yeah, this is what my parents found in their apartment. It's pretty clear that my brother was the main player of the 360, because I didn't touch many of these games back then. Oh, and speaking of old consoles, The PS3 was also found, which my brother has been blamed for over a decade for losing. So it's pretty funny that it was just sitting around in a random drawer this whole time. We're still missing a few things from our childhood though. The Game Boys haven't turned up, and apparently there is supposed to be a Wii somewhere too. We had a teal Game Boy Color and an atomic purple Game Boy Pocket, both of which would be awesome to find. I am prepared to buy a replacement Game Boy Color though, if they're gone for good. But the games we had, Pokemon Red and Pokemon Crystal, are so expensive now that I don't think I can justify buying them again. Fingers crossed that the Game Boy shit turn up. I'd love to play around with those again. Fucking nostalgia. Anyway, that puts the total of 360 games to 19, because I already had one from before for some reason. And the OG Xbox collection is now up to 9 games. But now I desperately need some new shelves. Should go get some next week. But that's about it. Which of these games should I try out first? Let me know in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.